Good afternoon and welcome to our Timoney webinar this week on Leading with Purpose. My name is Ronan O'Farrell and I'm the CEO of the Timoney Leadership Institute, a not-for-profit educational institute dedicated to supporting leaders. Many have commented over the course of this pandemic so far that it has provoked them to ask deeper questions of themselves about the meaning of our lives and about what the purpose is of our frenetic lifestyle that can so easily be turned upside down by hidden protein. And you could say it has put the spotlight on the why we do what we do at work, why we build companies, why we grow in turnover, why do we find meaning in our day-to-day work. Well, my guests today on our webinar have been exploring these questions and finding answers long before COVID-19 showed up, and they've very kindly agreed to share some of their insights with us this afternoon as we dig into what it means to lead with purpose and to build a purpose-driven organization. So first, Carlos Rey is Professor of Strategic Management and Director of the Chair of Management by Missions and Corporate Governance at the International University of Catalunya in Barcelona. He's also the founder of DPMC, an international consultancy firm that helps organizations build purpose-led organizations. Carlos teaches on the Timoney Advanced Leadership Program each year, delivering an inspirational series of sessions on management by missions. He's also the author of a book just published this past year titled The Purpose-Driven Organizations, which has been produced by Palgrave Macmillan. And a very accessible read, I have to admit, well worth picking up online. Carlos's consultancy firm, DPMC, is now partnered here in Ireland with the strategic agency MCCP, which is run by Kay McCarthy, one of our alumni from the 2016 program. So if you're inspired by what you hear today, you have a partner here in Ireland who can help you with it. We're also joined from Nazareth by Imad Reem Younis, both engineers and co-founders of Alpha Omega, founded back in 1993, which started out as an R&D subcontractor in the neuroscience field. But over the past 2 decades, they've pioneered leading-edge technology in both neuroscience research and functional neurosurgery, providing surgeons with new solutions and therapies for neurological and psychiatric diseases. And they have endeavored to lead their company with purpose. So looking forward to hearing more about that. Imad is also passionate about growing new leaders out of his community so they can take the lead in shaping their society's future. And Reem also, who besides co-founding her own company, which she went on to develop and sell, she is passionate about promoting 3 E's: education, employment, and entrepreneurship, especially among younger generations in Nazareth and its surrounding areas, encouraging them to pursue their dreams for a brighter future. So thank you all, the 3 of you, for joining us from Barcelona and from Nazareth. Maybe Carlos, if I could jump to you first, and if we could start with some concepts. So purpose, what do you mean by purpose?
Thank you very much, Ronan. Well, by purpose, let's start considering what purpose is not. Maybe this we can clarify a little bit what purpose is. First of all, purpose is not the luxury of the few. It's something that is given to all. Purpose is not something special. So some people have purpose and some others don't. Really, it's something that is given to all and is really attached to a human being. Second idea is that many people have a false idea of purpose. It is not a question of supporting a cause or feeding a passion. I love playing guitar, but this is not my purpose. You can think about saving the whales in the sea, but this is not purpose. Purpose is something more special. It's particular for every person. And the third thing, that purpose is not something new. The ancient Greeks and philosophers really talk about the why, this ultimate meaning of things, of existence, at the end of the day. Purpose can be formulated as a sentence or an idea, but of course it's much more than a sentence or an idea. Purpose belongs to the dimension of being, is who you are, belongs to who you are. Purpose, I like to say, and I explained in that book that you showed before, is knowledge. Knowing your purpose is motivation and is action. It is head, heart, and hands, the three at the same time. Really, purpose brings the light, the best in each person. Is the most beautiful face of the business and the most beautiful face of people. And I can give some kind of definitions or ideas that around purpose. It's kind of commitment that you have to live for others. Some people say, and this I really like, is the why you came into the world. Why are you here in this world? This is your purpose, specifically for you. Yeah. Purpose can also be identified by the thing you want to be remembered for, the day you are not here. So it is what you do for others and have a special meaning for you. So purpose is transcending from oneself and is really the talent that makes you unique and you give to others. As an example, you can find many kind of purposes, even in companies or in people, to alleviate suffering, to promote welfare, to give meaning to work, to improve life, transform the environment, spread happiness. At the end of the day, purpose recognizes the interdependence of business and society, you and the others.
Are there some examples with a strong purpose, that names that we might recognize that you'd point out?
Definitely, there are many. There are many today, fortunately, and they are very, very good examples. I can mention a couple of them. One, for example, is Unilever. Unilever is a company, Paul Polman. It's been doing an incredible transformation of Unilever around purpose. They have defined purpose at the corporate level. They have work purpose at the individual level as well, so for all the people in the company. And then they have defined purpose in the brands, the brand purpose. Indeed, they have demonstrated that purpose with brands, they have double growth, for example, than the others. So this is something that, and Unilever can be a very good example. And another one, for example, could be the Danish company that is called IESE. They employ 500,000 people all over the world, and they have a program. This company is dedicated to maintenance and cleaning, and they have a program for every employee to reflect about their purpose for the cleaning service. Even to this task, to thinking, okay, when you're going to a hospital or to an airport to clean, what is your purpose? What is the purpose of your work? So this could be a couple of examples.
That one reminds me, I think I read it in your book. There was a cleaning person from that company, IESE, who was cleaning a school. That was part of her work. And she said, I keep the school clean, which helps the students focus on learning and developing their talents. Something along those sort of lines, sort of really transcending away from just cleaning.
So you can imagine this woman going every day to the school. What is different for her? Going just cleaning the floors, or thinking I'm like a teacher. I'm helping them to learn. This is completely different. We have many other examples. Like, for example, I remember I was in a course in this program with in IESE with cleaning service with women that were cleaning a hospital. And after some hours of discussion, one of them said, okay, but when I really treat the patients well, when I smile to them, I think that they recover better. We are like doctors. So that was great. So, and I remember that woman was crying. Yeah. She was discovering something new, and saying, you think how different is going every day to a hospital for cleaning just the floors, or thinking I'm like a doctor. This is the power of purpose in these companies, definitely.
So you refer to this as personal purpose. So not, that a job is not just basically about earning a living and so forth, but it's really a different understanding of the meaning of work.
Absolutely. Well, under the lens of purpose, work turns into a vocation. So something that is specific for you, what you are doing, so you can express yourself. Yeah. Your need to do something for society, you can really do it by cleaning a hospital. by cleaning the schools. This is the idea. So work is really is having a completely different meaning. And here, no matter your personal story, no matter the work that you're doing, everybody can find a purpose.
Very good, very good. Well, maybe if I could jump over to Imad there and bring you in on this bring it into a very practical, real example. Could you give us a bit of background, maybe first, on Alpha Omega and how the challenges, I suppose, of running a company in Israel today?
Yeah, thank you. I want to add just a one sentence to what Carlos said. Like imagine, like in the sense of purpose. Like imagine you're a person that you're assigned some objectives and responsibilities, and you conduct your objectives perfectly, excellent, and then you bring the end product to the company. And the company says, wow, this is extremely very good work, but we don't need it. And they just dump it. So like, imagine that you're like, there's no purpose. So its purpose it adds the joy. So to answer your question, our company is a medical device company. We are around for more than 26 years. And what our technology allows neurosurgeons to insert electrodes into the brain, and these electrodes give electrical pulses to treat neurological disorders. And what we do in the company, the technology that we do is a navigation system in the brain that is based on the analysis of the neural activity to guide the surgeon to implant these leads, these electrodes in the optimal target that the patient can go back to normal life. And we're talking about patients who have neurological disorders or even psychiatric disorders. And the company has its offices, the headquarters in Nazareth, and we have also offices in China, in the US, and in Germany.
Very good. How many people are you employing there in Nazareth?
So all over the world we are about 100, and in Nazareth we have maybe something like 70.
70. Very good. Very good. And how does purpose play out in Alpha Omega? This shared purpose that Carlos was talking about, personal purpose, how does it manifest itself in the company?
Yeah, when I first time I heard about management by mission and purpose, it was a long time ago, maybe 5 or 6 years. And when I heard this, it was a whole day seminar, and I said, this methodology, this management, this approach is built for Israel. Because we here in the country, we have different people from different backgrounds. So we have Jews, we have Arabs, Palestinians, Christians, Muslims. We have men, we have women also. We have people from the center of the country. We have from the periphery. We have from villages. We have a huge diversity, and the diversity in Israel is not I would say a good diversity. I would say it's a conflicting diversity. Like people not always love each other, and different groups do not get along. So I think from time to time, like every 2-3 years, you hear about us, something bad about us.
Yes.
So bringing people together from all these different diversities, and where each entity, each person can keep his individual purpose and still serve or contribute to an institution that has a it is a purpose that combines everyone. So it allows the person to be able to do the most of it in a way that it allows everyone to keep his purpose. And work together as teams, different partners to fulfill that the shares.
I'll intervene there, Imad. I'm not sure if the signal is working. Carlos, can you hear him okay?
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
Sorry, Imad. I think your signal dropped there. If we could just wind it back a little bit.
Okay. So I will, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you. So, as I said, that there's lots of conflicts in Israel, and we have people coming from different backgrounds, and these backgrounds are not always in harmony in each other. So, in a company that is living the purpose, where the purpose is not just the company's purpose, as Carlos spoke, but we're talking about each person's purpose in life. And this methodology, this management style allows everyone to keep his or her purpose and still serve the general purpose of the company, of the specific departments also within the company.
Very good, very good. And Reem, could I bring you in on maybe the practical aspect of how this got started within the company, what you went about at the start to actually introduce the concept and get other employees on board with it? Because often with these types of programs, you know, you can conjure up the image of a big workshop with all the top people in the company going off to have a brainstorm, and they come back with this wonderful document and this is our purpose and hand it down to everybody. Was that the kind of approach, or was it something different?
I mean, thank you, Ronan. It was a bit harder than that, because, you know, like when we started the company, it was 26 years ago. It was part of some frustration that Imad went through finding the job. So we had a very, I would say, egocentric purpose. It was, we want to create a high-tech company and employ Arab engineers who could not find a job. And when we heard, you know, this lecture about purpose, and we discovered that we are really in the wrong track. And it resonated with us because we wanted to do something bigger. So it was like, for me, I mean, I think it was a paradigm shift, you know, in the way that we think, in the way that we need to invest lots of energy to convince people, though every day you have your urgent issues that you need to do, but still, you know, it's between the urgent and the important, and you need to put fires all the day. And then you need to look at this and to see where we are taking the organization. Lots of resilience, magnanimity, and courage to bring different language, to start speaking a different language inside the company. It's also, I would say, very hard work and accepting moments of frustration, because like now we're talking about it as if everything is perfect, but I mean, you get those moments that you are tested in, and you have to react. But the nice thing is that you have this lighthouse that you look at, and the reaction is so clear. Like if you look at it and see like why I'm here, so the decisions are much easier.
Very good, very good. And is it something that you had a program to implement over a period of months, or how did you actually begin to implement it in the company?
I mean, we've been implementing this for so long time. I think, Carlos, more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say like we're not good students in this. Like we did it slowly, but I believe like we did it according to our pace, according to how we saw the company was adapting. Like we did not enforce anything, and we still like it's not the idea. The idea is that we want people to accept it because it's good, not because the management is bringing it to the table. And I still remember, Carlos, the first time that we defined the mission, the purpose, you said, I mean, it's one of the rare times that the management put so much emphasis on integrity. It was very important for our management team to have integrity in our purpose. And this is so nice. Like, I mean, living the integrity was something that even Imad and me did not think about. Like, I mean, it was understood that we want to live integrity, but to have it in our purpose, like to be known. So it was amazing for us.
So could you tell us what is the purpose? How is it defined, or the mission at the moment for your company?
Our mission, I mean, I like to see it as a circle because like we have the 4 stakeholders of Alpha Omega. The first stakeholder is the company. So we want to keep continued growth. Like the idea is that Alpha Omega stays beyond the lives of Imad and Reem. Like we want Alpha Omega, a company which is built to stay. So in order to keep it sustainable, we need to grow it all the time. We need to have growth bases all the time and run it with integrity. And for that, we want to keep our customers, which they are our second stakeholder. So our customers, we want customers to come to us, and we promise them that we would exceed their expectation with our exceptional solutions. But like we're 100 people and we don't know all of our customers. Who comes into action with the customers are our employees, who are the third stakeholder. And we promise our employees to grow them as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as people who have purpose in their life. But at the end of the day, we're doing this for our community, which is the fourth stakeholder. And we want all of this to go around and give back to the community. So this is the way that I circle the purpose. I think, Carlos, I never explained it to you this way, but I mean, this is the way that I see it, like a circle that it feeds itself.
Very good, Carlos. What do you make of that?
Thank you. First of all, Reem, I have to tell you, when Ronan asked me, because in the book you mentioned, I talk about more than 50 companies. And Ronan, when you asked me, could you bring a company? Okay, I will bring the best one. And the one is doing the purpose at best. But this is something that is very common for companies that are outstanding on purpose. They think that it's not enough. They always think that it's not enough. So they always think, well, we are on the way. We've been 10 years, but we are on the way. But we are still there. We are on the way. I think this is a very good
the journey.
Yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, often, Carlos, we can talk about importance of strategic alignment, for example, in an organization. That's often a term, to get everybody aligned. But am I right in saying you believe that's not enough? That because you talk about the virtue of unity, of connecting up the whys of employees and with that of the company, both personal and organizational. How is that different or more have more depth than strategic alignment?
Well, strategic alignment is more related to the how. how to do things. And this is very important, it's crucial. I mean, you cannot build an organization without this strategic alignment, that you need to define direction, then you need to put the means to achieve that, and then you need this alignment. This is very important. But it's not enough to build really an institution. So to build as a company, as an institution with some certain ends, you need to build unity. And unity is this connection between this personal purpose and the organizational purpose. At the end of the day, it's this commitment of people with the organizational purpose. So this unity and alignment, they complement each other. So you have to really understand how with unity you can create more alignment. Also with better unity, with this, then you can build more robust companies and also more coherent companies. And as Reem, as you mentioned, it is everything about the integrity. So what is going to give you the integrity is this unity at the end of the day. So is when really the company is moving in a spontaneous way to doing the purpose.
Okay. And when you talk about integrity there being an important part, both Reem and yourself have mentioned it now. What, like if Imad and Reem, you weren't there in the company, would that purpose continue on in the weeks, months ahead? Is it something that's intimately tied to both of you, to the passion and belief and integrity that you have? Or is this something that you have now hardwired into the organization?
I mean, when we start talking about purpose, I mean, and the changes that it does in the organization, I mean, the first person to change is me. It changes my attitude. So instead of being a task manager or a person who sets objectives for people, I become something else. I become a person who needs to lead other people who have purposes. And this unity we are talking about is not just unity between different stakeholders, it's a unity within the person. Like that each employee in the organization would have this unity to see all four stakeholders. So it's important that there's a leader. There is important, like it's very important to keep the company in purpose, in like following the purpose. It's important to have a leader that accepts it and lives it and implements it. Now, it doesn't, like the name Imad doesn't have anything to do with the equation or really.
Okay. I'm sure it has something to do with it. Well, look, we'll take some questions from the audience in a little while. If you want to put any questions you might have into the Q&A box at the bottom for either of the three, Carlos, Imad, or Reem, we'll come to those in a little while. Just if I can jump on from that, from your personal leadership, and maybe Carlos, you might have something to add on this. Employees often don't like sharing their own personal purposes in a work environment. I mean, first of all, they might know if they have one or have thought about it, but they might not trust that it would be respected or valued. What in general can you say can leaders do to facilitate that, the feeling that their personal purpose will be not only respected, but actually seen as part and parcel of the purpose of the company, that unity that you're talking about?
And this is very common. I think that for many years we have been teaching indeed in business schools, and I remember the 90s and the 2000s, that, okay, there are two separate worlds. One is professional, and you have to be a professional. The other thing is your personal life. And this probably has been taught for many years, and many people is thinking in this way today, and they are reluctant to say, okay, purpose, this is a personal thing, but this is not related to this. But you know one thing, it's very difficult to talk about organizational purpose if you are not really taking care about the personal purpose of people. Because really, if you want people to take care about your organizational purpose, you have to care about their individual purpose. And this is something very important for them. And of course, we have many of these situations in companies. Always give the same advice. Okay, for the manager, for the CEO, for the president, start talking about your personal purpose. Share yours. So explain them, but okay, maybe not in a speech to everybody. Do it one by one. Take if the president, Mr. President, take your CEO, your general manager, and explain them. This is my purpose. What do you think about this? When you answer, when you make this question, then probably he will say, okay, I love it. And mine is this one. And you start these meaningful conversations as well. And this is probably one way to do it. Of course, then you have other ways when you have to communicate to others. But I think it's very, very important to do it personally and to really recognize the value of the purpose of every individual. Secondly, is to respect that if someone does not want to share openly, the purpose, you have to respect it. But you have to question yourself why. Maybe you don't have enough trust. Maybe you are creating an ambience of fear. Maybe so. And normally what we see is, okay, when you build on trust and really when you are building these relationships, then the purpose arises naturally.
And how do they build that trust?
Trusting others. There is a lot of experience in this and trusting others. You have to start. You have to do the first step. You have to do it. Trusting others. Absolutely.
Very good. And Reem, could I ask you on a practical level, how did you build the trust there with your team when, I mean, you alluded to it, or Imad alluded to it there earlier, that there are tensions that employees are bringing in to the business from outside, from culture, from the country, from what's going on. And how did you manage to build that trust among employees and with yourselves?
I mean, it's a hard question. Like you're asking me as if I'm there, as if we are 100% building trust. Like it's a process, I believe. I mean, and the process, as Imad said, like it starts deep inside, and we have to believe in it. We have to be the role models for other people. But I mean, the most important thing that I learned from this personally, that you have to love the people, the person in front of you, to decide out of caring and not out of your own wants, what you want. So it's so important to reflect on how can this person be better, though the decision might be a little harming to me. So bringing the person in front of yourself, before yourself, I think is a good exercise. Sometimes we forget, but we try to correct all the time. So I'm trying to build that trust. Sometimes I have my bad days and I have my good days.
We all do.
Yeah, but having this, in your mind all the time, thinking about it, like what's good for you, not for me, but what's good for you. So people feel that when you are genuine, when you are sincere, when you are caring, and when you are loving, like these emotions, I don't believe that they can be faked. Like people feel if they are true or not. So
very good. And Imad, if I could come to you, in what way has it, if we had an employee here on the webinar with us, what would they say about it from their perspective? How has it helped them in their role in the company?
Yeah. Well, it's tough to work in Alpha Omega. It's not easy. It's not easy. We work in a very regulated field. It's we're talking about state-of-the-art electrophysiology and neurosurgery. We are in Israel, small company in a world of giants like Medtronic and Boston Scientific and others. So the technology is complex, everything is, the brain is complex. So like every person needs to know why am I doing this? Like at the end of the day, every one of us, like we want to be happy doing what we're doing. And like purpose serves this. Like it's not a matter of skills and objectives, but there's a meaning. There's why I'm doing this. Now, not all employees in Alpha Omega, like no one have came to me and said, I hate you and I hate the purpose of your company. No one have done this yet. But some of them, they love it and they try to work according to it, and some they act. And we have, like we are in a place that, for example, if we take the Palestinian Arabs, or if we take the Jewish immigrants from Russia, I mean, these people have been in an institution that the institution and its purpose was not so good with them. Like and if we take the Christians, even within the Palestinian community in Israel, I mean the institution, the Israeli institution, does not embrace all its children equally, let's say. So so there's this challenge here that you know, they would not follow or would not you know, embrace purpose. But what Carlos keeps teaching me and what I experience is that there's the personal purpose also. The personal purpose. So we're not trying to melt everyone into one purpose. But everyone will have his own purpose, his or her purpose, and we live to accomplish a combined purpose, a general purpose. And sometimes people also here are not ready to have a purpose or to have a serious purpose in their lives, to follow it, because it's hard. Like it's hard to be, like when someone has a purpose, you're talking about a leader, right? I mean, what do you mean? Like a leader that is at least is leading him or herself to somewhere. And it's hard. It's hard to set a goal and follow it, because you need to have many values and many competences to be persevere, to be courageous, to be honest, to be, to be humble, like so. So, you know, the person, the employee, the manager, I mean, we are complex human beings. So
certainly are. And Carlos, maybe if I just pick up on that point, you know, we often make the point in Timoney that leadership is first and foremost about leading oneself before leading others. And I know you share this view and see it as essential to lead from purpose. But can you spell out a little bit for the leaders who are listening today, just what are the implications of that? What does that self-leadership in terms of purpose entail?
Absolutely. I think the first thing you have to consider is knowledge, self-knowledge. It's about knowing yourself, knowing really what are your strengths, what are your abilities, what are the good things that you're doing. And don't think that this is obvious. Yeah, sometimes the obvious things are blinded to us. To put you an example, as you said, I'm a strategy professor, and I was just making one workshop. I was participating on the workshop to identify your strengths. And I was doing my strengths in a list, and I was sharing this with some friends. And then I said, okay, I'm a strategy professor, so my biggest strength is to give a strategic insight. And then I said this to my friends. They said, well, I mean, I will not say you're bad on this, but okay, I will not say this is you're the best. And I was very upset. So I started calling some people that I know. For example, I call Imad, maybe you remember, and I called some other companies, and they said, what do you think? Okay, your strategic insight is not, but you know, you're very good in giving meaning to situations. You give meaning to things. And that is what is helping us to really making sense of situations, and then to make a course of action, to define a strategy. Okay, so sometimes, yeah, first is knowing yourself, and this is very important. You have to ask people, ask your wife as well, about ask your couple and friends. And the second thing, and it is, and this is really a personal journey, is what we call self-awareness. Is knowing about your values, your real motivations. And for this, you have to dig really into yourself and really understanding what are your motivations. Why do you really wake up every morning? And this is not something obvious. And really, what are your values? But not the values that you are supposed to say because you are living in this situation. No. Tell me, what are your values, your personal values? And okay, this is self-knowledge and self-awareness and this social consciousness, we can call. These two things, they come together, and this can really talk you about who you are and what is your purpose.
Very good, very good. We've had a couple of webinars recently where we've dealt with this whole area of self-knowledge and self-awareness, because in Timoney we're using a particular tool to help us with that, called the B5+, which has been very helpful, just in getting to understand those strengths and maybe weaknesses that we wouldn't be aware of off the top of our tongue, but when you get back in behind the personality that's there, you get an insight into who you are.
Yeah, so
but it's very, very powerful, isn't it, to know, not just know yourself, but
yes. So first thing is knowing yourself, okay, but second thing is knowing others. And as Reem said, I like a lot what you said. I mean, leadership is about loving people. It's about loving others. It's really, and here there is a really, love really is the base. Is really is the space where purpose is arising, and this is very important. This is the breeding ground of purpose at the end of the day. So here you have to ask yourself, how much do you love those who work with you?
Yeah.
What will you be willing to do for them?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know really your people? Do you know their personal stories, their values? Do you love them when they explain them to you? So this is the kind of conversations we said before, and this is what Reem she was expressing, and Imad. This is changing yourself. First, you have to change yourself. I like a lot what you mentioned, Imad. It's about me, so it's changing myself, but then going to others, loving others. Yeah, these two things, I think, is knowing yourself and then knowing others, loving others. Definitely.
And in a company environment, what do you mean by loving others?
Loving others is not a sentimental love, first of all. It's not a sentimental love. I see Imad saying, it's not a sentimental. This is very important. Let me explain you the story. When I was 26, I was appointed general manager of a company of 500 people. And the president called me and just to explain to me, okay, you're going to be the new general manager, etc. And I said to the president, thank you very much. Really, I'm really pleased, but you know, I'm 26. I mean, all the managers are doubling my age, etc. And he said to me, Carlos, you must love your people. Love your people. You know, I came out to these meetings thinking, okay, these are nice words from a president. When you don't know what to say, you say, love your people, and that's it. I say, but okay. So 1 year later, I went to present my results to the board, and I presented the results and everything. And then the president called me after the meeting and said, Carlos, how are you? How's your family, etc. I said, very well. And then he said, Carlos, do you love your people? I was not prepared, really. I was prepared for many questions in front of the board, but not for that one. And I said, I try. 1 year later, I had a serious problem with labor, in the company. I went to visit the president. I explained to the president the problem and asking for some advice. He said he was listening to me very carefully. And after that, he said, Carlos, do you love your people? Do you truly love them? With true love? I think this is a good example. I mean, it's really believing in it, that love has its place and is personal, and it has a place in business. Of course it has. Of course it has. It's personal. It's not a sentimental love. It's really wanting the
verb.
Well,
it's a verb.
Verb, absolutely.
You need to do it.
Great, absolutely. It's a verb. It's a habit. It's something that you are doing. Yeah, for others. It's really wanting the best of others. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And Reem, in a practical way, how does it manifest itself in a company environment?
I believe, like, what we did here in Alpha Omega, bringing all of these people together, sharing these great ideas about purpose. Some adapted more, some adapted less. But I believe we have here a community who lives in harmony, in diversity. Though we have all of these challenges out of us, out of the company, all of the conflict that we are living in Israel, and we're still able to come here to serve our clients, to serve our purpose together, Jews, Arabs, Palestinians, Christians. So I believe, like, it's huge. The thing that is happening here, though we criticize it all the time, we want it to be better. But it's something that I'm sure it will be built to stay after Imad and me depart from here. And it will be left for the new generations.
Very good, very good. Well, just on we'll go to some questions. I know Kay McCarthy has a question to ask, and also Michael Burke has one too. That's very, very practical one. So we'll come to that now shortly. Just before we do, could you say a quick few words maybe on? There are some similarities between the kind of challenges you've mentioned there in the diversity within cultures. We have similar challenges here in Ireland, especially in the north of Ireland. Would you have any advice for a leader now who's thinking of embarking on this journey of a purpose-driven leadership, where there are perhaps deep-rooted suspicions or differences as to what they can do to from your experience to overcome that? Either Imad or Reem, if either of you have something to add to that.
Yeah, I'll start maybe, and Reem will. So, I mean, first of all, we here in Palestine, Israel, we don't have anything to teach to the Irish people. We need to come to Ireland and learn from you how you make peace. I mean, this is the first.
Very good. Well, anything we can offer, I'm sure we're glad to share.
Thank you. So, as far as leading by purpose and changing the management style, I think it's beautiful. Like, it's a challenge. It's a great thing. Like, it converts the company from being a manufacturer of products to also manufacturer of leaders. Like, you create, as in the process of building products and competing and marketing and selling and manufacturing and addressing the quality and everything, you are also creating leaders, small leaders, bigger leaders with purpose. with integrity, with values. And it's so rewarding. It's more rewarding than final, like maybe, you know, having finishing the year with a profit that more than you expected. So it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding. But one thing, it's you need, as Carlos and Reem said, you know, when you develop the leadership of a person, or when you allow the inside purpose of a person to come out, and he's not afraid to do so, you need to expect that you may see something not nice. And you need to accept him or her with the unniceness, with the unnice character that he or she are bringing out. And this is the challenge, to how to work with every employee to improve as a person and as a professional.
Very good, very good. Okay, well, we'll go to Kay McCarthy, if she's there, from MCCP.
Thanks, Ronan. Good afternoon, Carlos, Imad, and Reem. A great session, and obviously at MCCP we're delighted to be working with Carlos's team, DPMC, to bring management by missions to Ireland and the UK. A lot of leaders, I suppose, right now are faced with more immediate challenges as we move through COVID. This is for Carlos, maybe to start with, and this could include restructuring their entire business. And for many large companies, we're seeing lots of big job losses, etc. So how can Purpose help them do this better to get back and to create sustainable growth through COVID times?
Well, very good one. Thank you very much, Kate. Very nice to hear you again. I saw that you were listening. We were talking 2 weeks ago. It was, or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it was very interesting. Thank you. So yeah, I think now it's a very interesting situation where Purpose really is. It plays a key role. You know? You can distinguish two kinds of companies. The companies that probably they have a purpose for many years, and really they have been like Imad and Reem and many others, like I said, Unilever, etc. For those companies, it's a source of resilience, and this is very important. Now, purpose is the biggest source of resilience. When you have a strong purpose, really, people is really acting and making decisions, and really making decisions by with sense of purpose, and this is very important. I remember it was, I think, 1 year ago, I was giving a conference, a lecture, and then in a company, and then after the meeting, I had one people in the audience was very reluctant about this topic of purpose, and he raised a hand and say, can you fire someone with sense of purpose? And then the president took the floor, and without allowing me to answer, he said, I could not do it otherwise. I mean, I think, and this company really was a very good example on how really purpose can help you to make even tough decisions. Tough decisions will be really made with more consistency, and people will understand better with sense of purpose, no doubt. And I have seen these examples in many companies. I have seen this experience in many companies today that are making, of course, they're taking tough decisions. We cannot say that for purpose-driven companies, this crisis is not affecting them. Of course, it's affecting them. It is affecting them a lot. We have companies with now 20% of the turnover they had last year, and they have to make decisions, tough decisions. Okay, but these decisions, even these decisions, have a meaning, and this is a very important thing. Okay. Then you have companies that now they don't have this strong sense of purpose, and they would like to have it. I think for these companies, what I recommend is, you know, there is a relationship between purpose and crisis, and you can understand this personally very. When you have something very strong in your life, you have a hit, then you are asking yourself, okay, why all these things? So then this is happening in companies as well. So they have they are trying to find a meaning to this, to what is happening today. Okay, we have COVID, but in front of the COVID now we have these layoffs, we have these situations, we have so they are asking why, and then the purpose is arising. Some kind of purpose is arising. So here is very interesting. Where I recommend these companies, okay, listen to your people, listen what kind of purpose is rising from them. And we have seen many interesting things that people think, okay, for society, for others, and for the clients, how they are making certain sacrifices. So gather all this sense of purpose and start from there. You know, I would not recommend now to really make a sentence, a very nice sentence as a new crafted purpose. No, I would not recommend, not in this situation now. Really recommend start really making this a small conversation. Listen to your people. Listen to your people. What is the meaning that they are giving to the situation, and from there, start understanding what the purpose of your company is. Yeah. Thank you very much, Kay. It is.
Thanks, Carlos. And an added question on that is, what are those characteristics do you think that leaders need going forward to be successful as in these very uncertain times, as uncertainty is going to continue?
Well, I think now we have to avoid the two situations. One is to become, especially for purpose-driven companies, you have to avoid becoming paternalistic. I think it's not the same being paternalistic than being really a purpose-driven leader. So, and you have to avoid that. You have to make these decisions come from the reality. At the end of the day, sometimes you are paternalistic, I mean by trying to defend some values or some principles, but without really taking into consideration what is the reality you have to confront. Yeah, and this could lead to even worse situations in future. And the other one is to become aggressive. So saying, okay, now let's put the purpose at one side, and now let's just focus on survival. I mean, survival has to do with purpose as well, and you need purpose for survival. Yeah, and this is something that we know from psychiatrists. You remember these many examples of people that survive in concentration camps because they had a purpose. Yeah, so you need your purpose to survive, and of course you need it. So you have to avoid these two things. I think this is very important, and then also to consider how trying to understand how is the new normal is going to be with sense of purpose, and how it's going to affect the business. I think now it's very important to understand and to really understand the new normal, because now many people is waiting for the old normal. So all we want the old normal, and then probably we are going to interpret the things that are going to happen, saying, okay, you see, now the meetings are not online. Now we have this, but really the world is going to be different. So it's very important to really pay attention to what are the signals of this new normal for your company as well.
Great, thanks, Carlos. So I'll go to Michael Burke for the last question, if he's live there. And let's see. Okay, he's not appearing there. So I just read out. He's asked a question on the Q&A to Reem and Imad. Obviously, with a company of 100 people, to understand each individual's purpose is quite an investment of time. Do you delegate this task or manage it directly yourselves? And also, is this task integrated with your employee performance review? So
yes.
Either, okay.
So it's delegated, and yes, it's built into the annual review, the quarterly review. So there's the mission or the purpose of the company. There's the shared purpose of each department, and then what objectives I did as each employee, and how did it reflect on my purpose and on the purpose of the company. So this is very, very structured in what Carlos told us.
Very good, very good. Well, look, we've almost reached our time, so I'd like to thank you, all three of you, very much for sharing those insights and ideas on purpose-driven organizations and purpose-driven leadership, and especially what leaders can do now in these uncertain times to build purpose into their organizations and discover it amongst their employees. So we'll close it there. We'll be back again next week. Please do continue to share your feedback and ideas. And if you've missed out on previous webinars, you can find them all on our YouTube channel and also on our website. Please do subscribe to it. It helps build the numbers. Next week, I'll be joined by Gautam Mukunda, another one of our faculty from Harvard. and he's also a columnist with Forbes magazine and author of several books on leadership. He will be sharing some insights we've learnt on crisis leadership in these times. And until then, stay safe and stay the course. Have a great week and enjoy, here in Ireland at least, the lovely fine weather we're having these days. Thank you very much.